Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth devlog for Tinkerer. It's been more than a week as I had hoped. It's been a month and change. So sorry about that, but there is a lot of new stuff to go through. So I'm going to be reading out of this while stuff happens on screen. Editor, please do the needful. New tutorial. There used to be an old level with an old tutorial before the game was a tower defense focused stuff, and that has all gone out the window, and now the game is more focused on surviving waves of enemies in classic defense style. So I had to revamp the tutorial, and in general I have been working on the whole um, early game experience, how the research goes, and the difficulty curve, and how to learn stuff. For example, new formulas have been added, like the actual molecules that you need to build. I have been working on that. Sometimes I have split tough items into two, like there's a basic research bench and an advanced research bench, and one is easier and the other one is harder. And in other cases, like for example, I think the sword, I remade it entirely into a newer thing because the original puzzle was just basically a nightmare, and it was unreasonable for a new player to actually figure it out in a single level demo, short demo sort of experience, which is frustrating. So I have been revamping stuff, especially for this first level demo. Later on, there is going to be much tougher stuff, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Also, on that same note, research progression is now gated. It used to be the case that you could research stuff in any order, and you could end up on situations where you could research like the ability to make an assembly machine, which is something more in the mid-game advanced sort of situation. You could research that before you could build the prerequisite inputs to make that. So you could kind of get soft locked in a way, and it was just unintuitive and unfun. So that's now properly gated, as you can see right now, hopefully. Also, factory progression. It used to be the case that you could just make the factories, which is the hexagon where you make stuff, where you tinker and solve the puzzles. It used to be the case that you could just add as many machines, as many little arms, and as many glyphs to bond stuff or break stuff and whatever, and inputs and outputs. You could just add infinite of each of them. And now it's gated, so when you win a wave of enemies, you unlock an additional one of those. So like first wave, you can just use one arm and one bonding thingy, and when you win the first wave, which is like very easy, and then you can add one of them, so you can choose like an arm or an additional bonding machine, or and so on and so forth. So as you progress, you can make increasingly complex and efficient things. Solving a puzzle with only one arm is at the very least much longer than when you have multiple and you can parallelize stuff. The longer it takes, the more pollution you generate. So you want to have as little a solution as possible. As short, really, not little. Also, now there's a proper lose screen. The way you lose is uh, when all your base is destroyed. So all the buildings that you have built, when all of those are gone and then you're killed, then you just straight up lose. You can keep playing, but you will probably be stuck. So the intention right now is to just quit and create a new game. But if there are buildings alive, any building, even a search bench far off in a corner, if you die, you will just revive like immediately. You just lose all the inventory, all the stuff that you had with you. It just falls on the ground, so you have to go back and pick that up. You don't lose the stuff that you have on equipped on yourself. So if you have a gun, you will still have the gun, but you might lose the bullets, for example, stuff like that. So yeah, if your base is gone and you are gone, then it's over. More excitingly, new enemies. Now there's something harder to kill than chickens. Now we have two different flavors of rats and a big ass earth golem, which is currently pretty much unkillable. The idea is that, of course, as the waves go further, it's going to be harder, and this golem is probably going to be some sort of boss fight at the end of wave 10th or something like that. But anyway, a new milestone is approaching. As I had talked about in the last one, the EVA is Conferencia de Videojuegos Argentina, something like that, is coming in November, I think, on the 5th of November, and the inscriptions are open now until the 20th. So I gotta get Tinkerer in. Hopefully, after I do all what I'm going to talk about now, and hopefully I get selected. There's a very strong chance that I'm not. The game is currently in a fairly rough state, even though it's now technically playable and winnable. It's a proper game now. Yay! It's rough. So I think I will probably get rejected. So let's talk about what I'm working on right now. Currently, I'm still working on new enemies. I want to have enemies with new behaviors, like especially I want enemies that shoot at you from far away, similar to Factorio, where you have like speeders shooting stuff from far away. Eventually, I want to have like flying enemies and underwater enemies and maybe underground enemies, stuff like that. But right now, just some enemy that spits at you from the distance is going to be nice enough. I'm also working on the graphics. As you might notice, the right now the new enemies they're kind of good. They don't look like shit. So I have officially begun investing money into this. I'm paying for assets and stuff like that. So I'm moving towards the make it look good direction. Still a lot to do on that front, especially terrain. Right now it's this flat green surface, which is awful. I want to have grass and stuff like that. Maybe waves around or moves aside when you step through it, but anyway, new graphics. I want to have new graphics at least for this demo, in any capacity. Uh, the bigger task rather than graphics is sound. There is little to no sound, like the chickens do when they die, but that's pretty much it. I gotta get proper sound and like footsteps and the background noises and stuff like that. That's a lot of like UI noises and feedback. Like when you put your mouse on top of stuff, it should go like or something like that. I gotta get on with that. There's like infinite work to do there. I'm going to do as much as possible. I gotta get all the stuff done in the next 15 days and then sign up for this convention. Hopefully I get selected, but even if I don't, I plan to have a playable demo up in on itch.io when I do, so that you guys can play it. Hopefully in within the next 2 to 6 weeks. It's Valve time. Don't take my word for it. But anyway, thanks for listening to me. Have a good one.